See? So it's going to happen, inshallah. I'm confident of that, inshallah. So we don't have to overreact to no situation. We be patient, can continue to work and continue to talk to the people and Obama and the politicians and everybody, man. You know, having love for them and being concerned for them and their state. You know, like the Prophet ﷺ was. The Prophet, you know, he could always concerned about his enemies. He always was trying to reach them. He didn't hate them. He didn't hate his enemies, man. So in fact, he told us, and when you hate for the sake of Allah, all right? And you love for the sake of Allah. And when you hate, you should hate with moderation. And when you love, you should love with moderation. Because the person you love, you see, one day may change on you, become your enemy, man. You see, the person you hate, like Omar hated the prophet, you know, hated the man, he was going to kill the prophet, see? And then Allah turned his heart, see? A lot of people like that, man. So we have to be moderate, man. So the guy that's the enemy, subhanAllah. Today could be the friend of Allah tomorrow, right? So that's why you can't hate nobody, man. And unite our hearts around those things and whatnot. You see what I'm saying? And work in more cooperation together, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, free of the biases, the sectarianism, that you find sometimes, the racism even that you see, it's in Muslim, not in the deen, that you see, that has crept in, I guess the bottom line, the brotherhood of Islam, you know what I'm saying, being practiced, because again, we bring the brotherhood together, bring the ummah together, I think Allah will favor us more, inshallah, and get the job done, inshallah. But that's what I'd like to see on a more practical level.
Just like Lakari Imam, that's very beneficial to myself and everyone that's here. And we want to thank you. Allah continue to bless you and reward you for your good, inshallah. And I believe we have questions from the audience.
Inshallah. Okay. We'll take a few.
The other night, you brought up something very interesting. You were talking about, if you don't mind me saying this, you were talking about Nabana.
Yeah.
And you were talking about, in those days, how when y'all were on the inside, y'all learned about Islam from reading National Geographic. Please.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah, when he mentioned it, alhamdulillah, when I first took my Shahada in Nabana Reformatory, as a young man, I was a little bad boy, right? So I ended up in Nabana Reformatory, they called it. All right. And there was no books in Islam. There were no books. And so we learned about Islam from reading National Geographic, National Geographics. Those magazines where they talk about different Middle Eastern cultures, Asian cultures, different people. And people from Afghanistan, people from North Africa, they would highlight them and they would speak about their lifestyle and their religion, and they would have the Arabic phonetics, their creed and their falah, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. They would even have, the phonetics of the Adhan in those books, and they would have pictures of Muadhin's calling, and we would learn Islam from those books. Well, that's what he alluded to. Yes, that was the beginning. Wasn't a whole lot of, there was probably one Quran in the facility. You see what I'm saying? It was old raggedy. It was a Reverend Rodwell Quran. It wasn't even a Yusuf Ali. Reverend Rodwell Quran, English. You see? All right. And so that's how it was. So it wasn't that many books. But then, alhamdulillah, with things opening up with like I said, with the Black consciousness movement, alhamdulillah, man, then they had to open up and start, sending those books in and requesting the brothers, alhamdulillah, and then we began to learn more. But that was also like another experience we had that was similar in terms of, even then, back in the 60s, there was no Jummah, prayer. I remember we used to make Jummah on the bleachers in Great Meadow Correctional Facility. That's right. Jummah on the bleachers in the yard. Because you couldn't gather. You see? So the Imam would, give the khutbah to us with his back to us. Because we couldn't look too obvious. Otherwise you get locked up. You go into special housing at the time. Segregation, as they called it. You see, so we made Jummah on the bleachers like that. And then when the Imam finished giving the khutbah with his back to us, you understand, then we called it down. We made the Salah in Jama'at City. Brothers on the end pulling sutra, watching the police in the towers, man. we couldn't look too obvious, man. I'm telling you, man. They would lock you up for religious preaching. That was a charge. You be put in the box with a hole for religious preaching. You know? or you're gathering as a group. It can cause a problem, security. So they were very deaf on stuff like that, you see. So we have to be very discreet. We be making this a lot, you know, alhamdulillah. That was the circumstances. So when I look back now, and I look at what we were able to do over the years in terms of the work of dawah and bringing into the prisons, you know, Islam and establishing the Jummah prayers and all those things, and brothers, alhamdulillah, brothers are well on their way, man. We came a long way. So you, alhamdulillah, for raising that, because like a lot of people don't know that history, man. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yes, alhamdulillah. Somebody else? Okay.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. I know the answer to this question is what you already stated as far as us as Muslims returning back to our deen and the authentic sunnah as far as our interaction between one another, etc. But I'm talking this question referring it to aspects in the dunya. Can you advise myself as well as others some basics that we could do on a local level? Like, what can I do when I walk out of this mosque? Some practical things that any Muslim could do that can assist the establishment or to bring back that renaissance. What can I do as a Muslim? What can the average layman? I don't know a lot about this deen. I'm not a scholar, but I believe in Allah and I'm zealous. I wanna do something. I don't want to just come in the masjid, make salah, salamu alaikum, and then everybody's gone and I'm standing here. Like, can you give us some practical things that we could do?
Good question, man. Good request. A man came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, "Oh, Messenger of Allah, you know, the injunctions of Islam are just so many, so much. Just give me something I can do." You see what I'm saying? The Prophet ﷺ said to him, "Do not let your lips," you see what I'm saying, "be devoid from the moisture of the remembrance of Allah," or something like that. Keep the dhikr. You talked about leaving here and go out. How do you deal? See, it all go back to the sunnah, brothers. You got to love the sunnah and hate the jahiliyyah. You got to love the sunnah. And part of loving the sunnah is to read those things that the Prophet told you and I to do, brother. So when we hit the marketplace, the most blessed place is what? Masjids. Huh? In the workplaces, right? It's a marketplace. So when I hit that marketplace, remember Allah, La ilaha illallah, wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku. So there are many adhkars, many remembrances, all right, or du'as, all right,